Hello, thanks for joining me today. I am Jill McKenna. I am the brand manager here at Ruby, and I'm delighted to be speaking today to Craig Rashkis. Craig is a partner at Farwell Rashkis, LLP. Craig, do you mind telling us a little bit about what you do and what your work is?
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me, Jill. It's a pleasure to have an opportunity to speak with you and talk a little bit about Ruby and the services and how we utilize it and our thoughts on all that. But I'm a lawyer and I'm a partner in a law firm of Farwell Rashkis, and we are a general civil law firm, and we represent businesses, families, and individuals in what I tend to say are the big three areas of business, real estate, and estate planning. And we provide representation in both transactional and litigation situations.
I imagine with so much that's changed in real estate and business over this last year and a half, that you all have maybe seen an increase in business and maybe an increase in the kind of client service that you provide.
It's interesting. I think as everybody in the entire world wondered, a little over a year ago, like what did the future hold? We wondered the same. And initially when all the shutdowns occurred, well, number one, I think like again, most everybody, we did make a shift to working from home. In California, where our firm is located, we were classified as an essential worker due to the type of matters that we handle. So we could be a little more fluid. We could be in the office or work from home, but we definitely did work from home. And I'm happy to say that we well, that move in general, being able to work from home, really was seamless when we reflect on our use of Ruby, because as you well know, you know, a client of Ruby can be anywhere, and the service still works, and you don't have to be in your office. And we actually run all of our communications off of our cell phones. So again, we're very portable, very mobile, and I think while we could say it's one of the highlights, I think for us, because we've been a client with Ruby for at this point a very long time, at least in our eyes, a little over a decade. It was just confirmation, really, of how valuable the service is to us.
What's the main problem that you were trying to solve when you went searching for a solution like Ruby so long ago?
Well, I would say that there were two primary needs that we were seeking to address when we became aware of Ruby, and obviously we ultimately decided to use Ruby, and that was uh, we were we were trying to find a solution to literally just answer our incoming calls and do it in a way that second part was really just do it in a way that um, had some personality to it, and I think reflected the type of um, firm that we wanted to be at the time. I'd like to think that many of our clients would say that yes, we've achieved this goal, and that is being personal. And in fact, we tend to market ourselves from time to time as personal counsel, and that definitely has a meaning in the legal arena, not a formal one, but an informal meaning. But for us, it is that idea of being personal, being approachable, and customer service, things like that. And um, we knew initially when we started out, at the time it was just my law partner and myself. We knew that we would have the time to answer incoming calls as they came in, but we also, I guess, hoped, and we had a relative level of confidence that at some point, as we began to get traction and become successful and practice got established, that there would be a point in time when we wouldn't be able to just answer incoming calls as they came. So I think as most diligent business owners, we were looking for that solution early on.
How has Ruby improved your day to day? How has it solved the initial problems you thought it would, and how has it maybe grown with you?
Well, I think that, now that our firm is established and we've grown, and it isn't just my law partner and myself, we have other lawyers who work with us, and we have support staff. We get calls from an array of different people. And I wouldn't, on some days, our quote unquote, we're getting calls all day long. But some days we don't. But the bottom line is we get calls from current clients, prospective clients, other lawyers, courts, administrative agencies, expert witnesses and consultants that we're working with. I mean, we even get calls from solicitors and misdials. So, that to us is a reflection of the fact that we're established, we're an established business, and people know uh, who we are and how to get to us and all that. So, having Ruby there has really become a seamless part of our firm's daily function, in the sense that we never think about or worry about how our phones are getting answered. When a prospective client calls, Ruby will, through a series of questions or just interacting with that person, when they identify the caller as being a prospective client, that actually gets formally earmarked. And we get that, well, we get it in an email, but I think at this point we interact with the mobile app so much that we see that on the mobile app, and it actually has an icon that says lead on it. And that's always nice to know. We see that, oh, you can just recognize it from the icon that you've got potential new business. And we have our own process for handling that. And it's just nice that, again, Ruby's providing a service that just works hand in hand in terms of allowing us to be as efficient as possible.
That's great. I love to hear that experience. And you also touched on something else I think we're really proud of as a benefit. When folks call into you, your clients or your prospective new clients call into you with Ruby, they don't necessarily know that they're not calling your office, because we do have that sort of personal connection. We make a connection with the person, and it's not obvious that they're calling an answering service or anything like an answering service. There's definitely the elevated aspect of client care there, which I, as somebody who's an advocate of small business, highly value. So I'm glad to hear that.
My quote unquote funny story is way back when we first started with Ruby. We had the option to have the receptionist literally say whatever we wanted them to say. And I know in large part that's still the case, but what we actually did is we had the receptionist just say that this is Ruby, right? Somebody would call and they'd answer, the receptionist at Ruby would answer the phone and say, Farwell, Rashkis, this is Ruby. How may I help you? And I cannot tell you, for the first few years, I think almost without exception, a client that had called our office, even if it was more than one time, and spoken to a receptionist with Ruby, and then inevitably came into our office, maybe to sign some documents or to have a meeting, they would come in and they would look around and they'd say, well, where's Ruby? And we would have to say, well, Ruby actually is not on site. Ruby is, off site in the state of Oregon. And in the best kind of way, every time the client would react to that and say, I can't believe that. They were amazed, but again, in that kind of that wonderfully pleasantly surprised kind of way that a remote reception service was so convincing that they were right there in the office. And even now, even though as Ruby has grown and now the receptionists just use their own name, from time to time we still get that question: is, oh, you don't, where's your receptionist? And we still get to tell that story. But I think for the first few years, again, almost every time we had somebody come in the office who had first called us, they would always ask, where's Ruby?
If folks want to find you all at Farwell Rashkis, where can they go to and where can they find out more?
We will have a new website up hopefully shortly, and you can find us on the web at farwellrashkis.com, and that's all one word, and it's FARWELLRASHKIS.com. And always with anything, if you do an internet search, you're bound to find us on LinkedIn or some other forums and other websites.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time today. It's just been a joy to speak with you, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you. My pleasure. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Craig. Thanks so much.